Am I the asshole for not making my DIL coffee and telling her I am not a barista? Edit. I sent this to my son and DIL. My son and DIL, Emily, are staying in our home probably for the next month due to water damage in their home. The company is fixing the damage, but the flooring was damaged, so it's not very livable right now. They have only been here less than a week, and I am having an issue. I work nights. I come back home around 6:30 a.m. and then go to bed. My husband is usually up, so I make him a coffee/breakfast before I turn in. Just something like to do, more quality time before he heads to work. I asked my son and Emily if they would also like coffee or breakfast before they go to work. They said no to food but yes to coffee. That was easy, and I just made 2 extra cups. I asked them to tell me if they want me to change how to make their coffee. I thought they would just tell me, use this cream, or if they had a preference on blend. Emily texted me last night and said she left instructions for the coffee. This morning I came home to very detailed instructions how to make a complex coffee. It was like a Starbucks drink. She wanted foamed milk on top, different syrups, a specific coffee bean ground fresh, and a different brewing method. We have a drip coffee machine. Most of the stuff was on the counter. I decided I wasn't doing that and just made the normal coffee. Emily wasn't happy, and we got into an argument before she went to work. I basically told her I am not a Starbucks barista, and I am not going all that. She told me I shouldn't have offered in the first place if I wouldn't make the coffee to her liking. We left on a sour note. I have been getting texts from my son about not being hospitable, so I am having trouble sleeping at the moment. Should I just make the coffee? If your son's doubling down like that, sounds like it's time for he and his entitled wife to seek new accommodations. Not the asshole. I can't imagine being so entitled. You're making her coffee. You're just not devoting a ton of extra time to make her some sort of fancy drink. If it's that important to her, she should get up earlier and do it herself. I have been getting texts from my son about not being hospitable. Or maybe your son can get up earlier to roleplay as a barista for his spoiled wife. WTF. If someone asks you how you like your coffee, your options are milk/no milk, sugar/no sugar, strong/weak/middling, and maybe can I have a big cup. And if the person making you coffee just finished a night shift, and they are putting you up for free. Not the asshole, but they are so much so. Not the asshole. The social contract for asking someone how they like their coffee goes like this. Black or milk? How much? Sugar or not? Maybe if you have different milk options. That is it. Your DIL should be embarrassed for asking you to make such a ridiculous drink. Not the asshole. Damn, she is entitled as hell. Just say you have made a pot, and she can bedazzle it up herself. Not the asshole. Just continue your routine. Give the coffee instructions to your son, and tell him to clean up after himself when he makes his wife's coffee. Would I be the asshole if I started locking our bedroom door in the mornings? My husband and I are on different sleep schedules. He tends to go to bed around midnight or 1 a.m. and wake up around 7 a.m. I don't get to bed until 4, 5, sometimes 6 a.m., and tend to sleep until around noon. I'm aware my sleep schedule is horrible, but until I can get it fixed, this is what I'm living with. The issue is my husband will routinely come into the bedroom and talk to me while I'm still trying to sleep. It's never anything important, and definitely nothing time-sensitive that couldn't wait until I was awake. He comes back into the room every 20-30 minutes, sometimes to make some random comment, sometimes to ask me a random question. Sometimes he'll walk in and just stand in the doorway staring at me. I've told him before that this feels like a passive-aggressive attempt to annoy me into getting up, and that it results in me already being irritated before I even get up for the day. His response was that that's not how he means it, so it's fine. This morning he sent our Roomba into the bedroom when I was still sleeping, and the thing roared and banged around in there for an hour. Would I be the asshole if I started locking the bedroom door after my husband gets up, so I can finish sleeping? There's a second bathroom he can use. It's the one he primarily uses anyway, so I wouldn't be cutting him off from the only bathroom or anything. This way I can finish sleeping without becoming irritated at him first thing in the morning, and he can stop wandering in for no reason. I don't know if it's just an ingrained habit at this point, or if he really is trying to annoy me into getting up, but he hasn't stopped despite me asking him to. Edit. Since so many people keep asking why my sleep schedule is so messed up, I'll put it here. I'm disabled and have chronic pain. If I go and lie down before I'm actually tired, I just end up lying there in pain. It's resulted in my sleep schedule getting pushed back later and later. Not ideal, but also not something I can just fix. I do not work. My husband is technically still employed, but is transitioning out and burning through his time off before he gets out, so he only goes into the office once every other week. Edit 2. Many people are pointing out that maybe my husband is lonely. That's a lot of hours that we could be spending together, etc. We're together literally all day. Nearly every day. He only goes into work once every 2 weeks, and even that is only for 3-4 hours at a time. We spend the rest of the time less than 10 feet away from each other. We have plenty of time together. The few hours in the morning when I'm still asleep is the most time we spend apart. You could lock the door, but it's not going to help because he will just knock on the door to get you to answer him. The problem is the lack of respect he has for you. Does your husband resent your sleep schedule? It sounds to me like he's passive-aggressively telling you that he wants you to be getting up earlier than you are. No judgment here, I'm a night owl too. Not the asshole, especially if you've asked him to stop and he won't. The people asking why Opie sleeps like this need to chill. There is nothing inherently good about going to bed early or getting up early, nor is there anything inherently bad about being a night owl. Left to my own devices, that's the sleep schedule that feels natural to me. As long as Opie isn't neglecting work/household duties, there is no reason to say the sleep schedule warrants the husband being an asshole. Would you all say the same if Opie walked in 10 minutes after he went to bed and started chatting at him over nothing? Not the asshole. I don't understand all the comments about your sleep schedule. It literally does not matter what time you go to sleep or what time you wake up, unless it's impacting your work or mental health. Your partner is doing something that stops you from getting restful sleep. Period. You know what's important when you have chronic pain? Sleep. If you told this exact same story but you were going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m., everyone would be pissed at him. He is the asshole on basis of using the vacuum at 7 a.m. alone. If he doesn't mean to wake you up, then why does he? He's totally being passive-aggressive. Not the asshole. Sleep deprivation is abuse. Why is your sleep pattern so wonky? Is he trying to help you reset due to depression or just bad habits? Do you work during the night and need the rest during the day? Am I the asshole for making a private matter public? My ex-husband and I have 4 children together. We are considered high conflict as we cannot agree on anything. One of those many things is that my time should be my time and his time should be his. He believes all time is his, and if he lets me have my time, I should be grateful to get it. Background of the conflict. We divorced in 2023. He got married in 2023. He let me know 10 days before he was getting married that he planned to get married on my weekend, that he was already aware we were going to be out of town because he had given me permission to take the kids out of state to a family function. Long story short, he guilted me and used the kids to make me feel bad about not letting them, having them question me about why I didn't want their daddy to get married again, so I allowed them to go. My only requirement was he absolutely had to be on time to pick up, because I was still going out of state to the family function. He was over an hour late. Ignored calls and texts. He posted on social media about being at his bachelor party. So I took the kids and left out of state. They missed the wedding. He has never forgiven me. Recently I got married. I planned it months in advance. I planned for my weekend and made sure the kids would be with me for the ceremony and reception so they could attend and would never interfere with his time. He did try to interfere, but it was shut down. Kids got to attend. Recently at a function, 2OD the children were showing off outfits from my wedding to him, and went to screaming at me because it wasn't fair they missed his wedding, but were at mine because I am bitter. I was getting hate, so I told the full story to everyone, his new friends and his wife who did not know full story. Now everyone is upset. His wife is mad I never told her. I feel bad I didn't share the story before, but also that I shared it at such a public event, kid's birthday. I just get tired of taking all the heat for his choices. Am I the asshole for outing all this? Not the asshole. The people who always say don't air dirty laundry in public are inevitably the people who did the horrible thing that they don't want others knowing about. If your ex didn't want people knowing about X, he shouldn't have done X. It's not on you to protect his reputation. Not the asshole. What were you supposed to do? Just sit there and take his abuse. He was screaming at you about the kids missing his wedding at a child's party as a result of his own lack of responsibility. You merely cleared up his lies. You are under no obligation to sit by while someone lies about you. The fact he did so publicly allowed you to clear the air publicly. If he knew everyone would be upset by the truth, he shouldn't have done what he did. If he'd been smart enough to have his wedding on his weekend, the kids would be there, and there would have been nothing else affecting that. And whenever he makes a real asshole move, feel free to make it public, so everyone knows it's not you being the asshole. Not the asshole. Not the asshole play stupid games win stupid prizes. He brought this situation on himself and tried to play the victim. Not the asshole. He's the one who chose to go off on you at a public event. Am I the asshole for wanting to take a 1-week vacation to Hawaii without spouse? I have 3 weeks of PTO left to use for the rest of the year, and after failed IVF my friends invited me to visit and stay with them as a way to cope with the situation, as I've been dealing with things since April and finally gave up. Emotional not doing well. Clearly since I'm here typing this out. My spouse doesn't think it's fair since he doesn't have time off to go, and I don't want him to miss work and it be unpaid. He gets 1 week paid PTO, and he used it as a staycation. He's not big on travel. If he joins me, then it would cause us to get a hotel, probably a rental car, and increase our expenses. I want to go as cheap as possible. All these men saying he is experiencing the same thing as she is after failed IVF do not understand how IVF affected her body and hormones woman facepalming light skin tone. Get over your grammar police nonsense. People love to discount a point because one error was made like y'all didn't know exactly what I meant face with rolling eyes. Not the asshole. I have a deep dislike for the I won't, so you can't either, folks. Your spouse is allowed to have a life outside you. He's used up his PTO himself while you were working, so the people saying it's unfair are also being unfair. Why is it only okay if he uses it to stay home? Plus, you're with friends. This isn't a couple thing. That said, I can understand why he feels bad. You should talk it out with him. Maybe plan something for the two of you to do as well since he's probably not mentally great as well. Nah. Go. Not even a question. A good partner would support you doing something for your mental health. And it doesn't sound like he's sad he's missing out, since he doesn't want a trip like this. But rather he just doesn't want you to have a nice time if he can't. If so, your memories of the trip might last longer than the relationship. In 2016, I went to New Zealand for a week without the husband and kids. My husband was okay with it, and we screen-chatted each night, so I could say goodnight to the kids too. We have been together for 30 years, and it's always me being on, so it was a break with friends. You need to be yourself before you are wife, mother, anything else. Your spouse doesn't think it's fair. Apart from sounding just a little childish, you friends are trying to cheer you up. It's not about him. And if he wants to go, maybe you guys can go together during his next PTO. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I don't really get people that can't handle their significant other doing a separate vacation every once in a while.